2023 is going to be a pretty big year for myself and the channel. So let me explain what I've been up to. So from the 1st of January 2023, we might actually be able to put the wheels in motion on the business idea that I've had, well, for an incredibly long time. And I'm going to share as much as I can in this video with photos and obviously plans for the business going forward. I have the contracts, they need to be signed, and then money needs to be sent. But let me explain, because as much excitement as I have for this project, it's definitely a big gamble. That's the most outrageous stinger I think I've ever played in my life. Hilarious. And before we go any further in this video, none of this would be possible if you guys didn't watch the channel. You guys have got me to this position, and I am always grateful for you guys watching, commenting, DMing me, all of that kind of good stuff. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I honestly can't believe how far that's gone. I thought it only went 150 yards, but obviously cleared the brow and somehow run out. I mean, keeping it under the wind's one thing, but that's just taking the mick. So for today's little knock, I'm using all the clubs that I've been loaned recently in terms of reviewing, and these are obviously the 0211 PXG irons, and then obviously the Tacoma irons at the bottom there. And I think it's kind of important that you guys know that I do actually play with a lot of the stuff that obviously I've been lent or reviewed. My bag is always changing, but I want you guys to know that I'm not a hypocrite. I don't have brand new 2022 fitted everything throughout the golf bag and then say to you at the same time, oh yeah, this 200 quid set will do. I honestly use everything that I promote. So let me explain why this is a gamble, but at the same time I quite like it. As I've stated in earlier videos, I have had the chance of investment into the channel and the brand and everything else to get the ball rolling. And that is still a definite possibility, but there are strings and obviously criteria and security, insurance, money. I get it, I understand. But timing is everything. And the place that I found, location, size, what I need it for, and sadly there isn't that much time for waiting around. That's why this venture, especially going forward, is completely on my own. And one of the big reasons why I like the idea of potentially going on my own with a very short and small shoestring budget is that it's exactly the same as this channel. Don't get me wrong, we need a decent launch monitor, and don't get me wrong, we need a decent mat simulator in terms of the bones of it, but everything else needs to be Facebooked, everything needs to be secondhand, everything needs to be painted, tarted up to look like it's worth a lot more than I've actually put into it. And the reason that I love that idea is that is exactly what I tell every single one of you to do with your own individual golf bag. But we haven't got long. Essentially, I've got 3 weeks until I have the keys to this place, and it needs to be set up quick because I need to start teaching out of it. Secondhand club fitting, which I'll get onto in a minute, because I have relied over the last year solely on YouTube ad revenue as well as a few sponsored videos, which has been amazing. And shout out to my wife for allowing me to do that, because even though this is a gamble in the essence that we got more outgoings on top of everything else we have in our life, it will add some kind of relief of a separate income. Not necessarily relying as much on YouTube ad revenue. Because even though I love this job and I love YouTube, I have found myself over the course of the year making content that would just bring money into the business, as well as stuff that I purely like making. And I'm hoping going forward, I'll be able to just make videos that I purely like making, opposed to knowing that those particular videos are, well, just gonna bring some money in. Now, I'm not going to reveal the location just yet, and it will very much be appointment only when the business opens. But I want to show you some of the images that I've got from the place in terms of the size, the structure, the build that obviously we're going for. And it's perfect in terms of what I'm looking to put in there in terms of simulator, and then enough wall space to have all the old demo iron kit lining the walls left and right, as well as old woods, old fairways, old hybrids, driving irons, drivers, you name it. So potentially, as well as teaching, which I will be doing quite considerably in there, there'll also be a chance for people to come down, I look through their golf bag and they swap like for like. They don't necessarily need to go newer. They could go exactly the same year. We could even swap them out from one model to another, but rather than having a cavity back, they have a muscle back, or rather than having their old muscle backs, they go up to a cavity back without having to spend £800 to get relatively the same effect. Which is probably the first bit of help that I might need from some of you guys. If your pro shop, or if you know a place that has tons of old iron heads and iron shafts, whatever it is, and they're just sitting in a bucket out the back of the shop, like most of my pro shops that I've ever worked in, because let's be honest, when they go out of season, they're essentially useless to a pro shop that is fitting for brand new stuff. Message me, contact me, email me, because I'd be very interested in taking those off your hands. The other aspect that this place is going to allow me, which I've been struggling for the last year or so, is a place to practice my long drive. We are still sober, 10 weeks now, and we are getting stronger. We've cut weight, which to be honest, I don't necessarily need to cut weight, but we're getting more flexible, we're getting faster, and now I potentially will have a place where I don't worry about hitting the ball at 200 miles an hour into the screen. Ultimately, the place is going to allow me tons of different options in terms of lessons, club fitting, live streaming, coaching sessions, as well as obviously practicing my own personal little journey, which is to hit the ball as hard as I can. Which brings me on to my next part. I will be looking for sponsors on the indoor enclosure, in terms of on the wall space, on the ceiling, whatever it might be. So if you feel like your business potentially would benefit from that kind of exposure, the people coming in, as well as obviously the countless videos I'm going to be making in the place, the live streams, you name it, then again, contact me on my email down below. And then lastly, the content on the channel is very much going to stay the same, but obviously very much on site through the whole of January whilst I'm getting the place ready. It's going to be very much a vlog of a day-to-day basis on me putting the sim in, or finding problems, or trying to fix these problems, whatever it might be, as well as new equipment arriving, old clubs, newish clubs, nothing too new, don't worry about that. And then the overall picture is fitting some of you guys with second-hand clubs. Getting clubs that are somewhat older, but potentially are better for you because the launch is right, the spin is right, you have the right shaft, you have the right grip, and potentially you walk away with me paying you money for your relatively newer set than the older ones that you take away. And if you don't like them, well then just bring them back and I'll give you your money back for them. Guys, if you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you are new. Catch you guys later. Gonna have some big updates for the channel. So let me explain. It's going to be a pretty big year for myself and the channel. So let me show you what I've been up to. 2023 is going to be a pretty big year for the chat. So let me explain what I've been up to.